Good morning, dear students. How are you today? Today we are going to complete the story of Alice in Wonderland. The events are going to be excited now. Okay, so please go and get your story books and open the story, page 34, chapter 9, Alice in Wonderland, and I will start to read it for you, and then we are going to check the presentation together. The Grim and Alice reached the courtroom and saw the king and the queen of hearts sitting on their thrones. A great crowd of birds and animals and the whole pack of cards were around them. The knave was standing in front of them in chairs, and the white rabbit stood beside the king with a trumpet in one hand and a long piece of paper in the other one. In the middle of the room there was a table with a large plate of tarts on it. The king was the judge, and 12 birds and animals were the jury. By the way, the thrones are the chairs where the king and the queen sit on, and the tarts look like a biscuit with a lot of jam on it. It's a dessert. Then, "Silence in the court," said out the white rabbit. "The trial will now begin." "Read the accusation," the king said to the white rabbit. "Yes, your majesty," said the white rabbit, and began to read out loud. "The queen of hearts, she made some tarts, all on a summer day. The knave of hearts, he stole the tarts and took them quite away. Call the first witness," the king said. The white rabbit immediately blew the trumpet. The first witness was the hatter. He came in with a teacup in one hand and a piece of bread and butter in the other. "Sorry, your majesty, but I was having my tea when the trial began." "Tell us what you know about all this," the king said, "or we will cut your head off and take off your hat." "It isn't mine," said the hatter. "I don't own my hats, any hats. I just make them and sell them." Please turn the page on page 36. "Stolen!" shouted the king. "Oh, I'm just a poor man," the hatter said, who was very scared. Just then, Alice started to feel really strange. She was sitting next to the dormouse, and she grew bigger all the time. "Can you stop pushing me? I can't breathe," the dormouse said, turning to Alice. "Oh, I'm sorry," Alice said. "I'm growing and I can't stop it." The dormouse got up angrily and went to the other side of the room while the trial continued. "Tell us what you know," the king said to the hatter again. Well, I was having my tea not more than a week ago, and the bread and the butter got very thin, and the twinkling of the what?" the king said. "It began with the T," the hatter said. Yes, I know, twinkling begins with a T. "Do you think I'm an idiot?" said the king. The hatter continued to speak, but everything he said was nonsense. "We can't understand a thing you are saying. Call the next witness," said the king. The next witness was the Duchess's cook. She came into the room carrying the pepper pox and made everyone sneeze. "What do you have to say?" asked the king. "Nothing," said the cook and left. "Call the next witness," the king told the white rabbit. The white rabbit looked at all the names on his paper and called out the next name, Alice. And that was for reading chapter 9. Let's check the presentation together, please. So the first slide is Alice in Wonderland, chapter 9. Let's check the other one. I guess it's the main points we have. Alice arrived to the court to attend the trial with the king and the queen. The witnesses of the trial were Hatter, the Duchess, cook, and Alice. Alice started to grow bigger all the time. Those are the main important points in the story, in this chapter. The next slide, it's the question slide. What was the rabbit holding in the courtroom? If you remembered, it was holding a trumpet in one hand and a long piece of paper in the other hand. Why were 12 birds and animals there? Because they were the jury. Why did everyone in the court start to sneeze? Because the Duchess cook came into the court carrying a box of pepper. Who was the first witness? The first one was the Hatter. Number 5, what happened to Alice during the trial? She was growing and cannot stop that. Number 6, who went to the trial for stealing the Queen's tart? He was the Knave of Hearts, if you remember the rhyming in the beginning of the story. For the next slide, read the accusation comment. These words, and I said before I complete comment question, I answer 3 questions. Who said these words? To whom and why, or when or where? So, these words were said by the king to the white rabbit while they were at the courtroom. Number 8, also a comment question. I don't own my hats, I just make them and sell them. So these words were said by the Hatter to the king in the courtroom as he was the first witness for the trial. For the comment questions here I have, the king and the queen of the hearts were sitting on their thrones, correct. Number 2, the cook was carrying the pepper box. Number 3, the king was the judge. That was the events of chapter 9. I hope you understand it well and see you next chapter. Bye-bye.